Hello, and welcome back to my Hearthstone Let's Play series. It's Northstar. I hope you're well, taking care of each other, and being kind to yourselves.
If only we could glean some insight.
Just taking a quick look at what cards are available here for this particularly obnoxiously card-heavy puzzle lab. I'll come back to and do that eventually. Thinking maybe I'm not gonna do the Mercs mode. I'm running out of energy. I need my energy. I'm gonna probably do a Hearthstone 4 Let's Play series, even if I just do a bunch of ranked stuff if I don't have energy for another episode of my Hearthstone 4 series. I'm convinced the rewards are very not worth it for Mercs. It's you grind it and grind it so that eventually you get characters who you could probably do the fighting pit and get other humans, not AIs, because most humans who do it probably have maxed out characters, and there's probably hardly anyone in it. If you face a bot, you get very low rewards for winning. So I don't know, I wish more people would do it, but I feel like after they made it so the Mythic Rush doesn't give any rewards, I think that killed a lot of enthusiasm for Mercs. And Blizzard probably did that intentionally. They say, oh, no, they like to kill enthusiasm for older things so that they can get people to go after the newest, shiniest thing. Evil money-grubbing corporation. Alright. I don't like capitalism. I am a socialist, a democratic socialist, and yeah, people think, oh, you're too stupid, naive, you live under capitalism. I didn't choose the system I was born into. And yeah, you could say, oh, go move to this socialist country. The US bombs, attacks, and undermines the socialist countries that exist on Earth. You shouldn't tell people, oh, you should go live in a place that's being undermined by the country you currently live in because you don't like the way your system, your current country. No, this country needs to stop. The US should never have gone down this pathway. It was started with Woodrow Wilson, who was suspected of being a member of the Ku Klux Klan. He was openly accused of that in newspapers when he was running for president in the first Red Scare. And then Truman, who should not have become president, he was forced into the presidency undemocratically, basically illegally, through a rigged 1944 Democratic Party convention. Not actually legally, I guess, because there's no laws that regulate these things, but it was completely unethical and highly undemocratic. The party bosses rigged the convention. All the delegates, back then there weren't primaries for the Democratic Party, so to choose the vice president candidate, delegates would just all gather in a city, and they would come promising to vote for this person or that, but there was nothing that bound them to it. And so the party bosses bullied, intimidated, and bribed. Yes, bribed. Not with money, but usually with something just as good, in fact, better. With the remnants of the Great Depression hanging on, jobs. They bribed them with jobs in the party apparatus, many of the delegates, to vote for Truman, even though Truman was a nobody that almost no one had heard of. He was a very conservative Democrat, also suspected of being a Klansman, just like Woodrow Wilson. Those who did know him hated him. He was somewhat known to organize labor in the United States, and they despised Truman. Which I guess he didn't go down as hard on labor as he could have when he was president later, though Taft-Hartley, he made motions like he hated it to play to labor, who he knew already were hostile to him, but he allowed it to happen, didn't make a strong stand against it, which was a violation of the rights of organized labor. Anyways, the Democratic Party had tried this before in 1940 to rig the party convention against Henry Agwood Wallace, who was the guy who became vice president then, and should have become vice president again. He was the incumbent. He was running to be vice president again in 44. He should have been the Democratic nominee in 44, and FDR would have won again with Wallace as vice president again. And when FDR died, Henry Agwood Wallace would become president of the United States. And he was to the left of FDR. He was a social democrat, think like Bernie Sanders. Not a socialist, but he was friendly towards the Soviet Union. He wanted the U.S. to be friends with the Soviets instead of being antagonistic. And that was a lot more viable then, because the U.S. had just been fighting alongside the Soviets in World War II. In fact, it was 44, fighting alongside the Soviets. And actually, during the Great Depression, because capitalism always needs investments to grow and will quickly put its morals aside when money is on the line, or its ideological stances, capitalist firms had actually built factories in the Soviet Union and stuff during the 30s, because there weren't enough investment opportunities in the Soviet Union, because they'd been cut off from much of the world economy by the British, who were the world global imperialists before World War II. After World War II was the United States, but who kind of took over the remnants of the British Empire. But that the British had cut off the Soviets from a lot of the global economy, so they weren't as affected by the Great Depression. Plus, their planned economy enabled them to just force economic activity to continue at a high level. Like, just, we don't have to lay people off just because we have reduced profits as state-owned companies. Private companies will lay off people if it increases their profit, even if they're still profitable either way. State-owned enterprise can say, sorry, stupid MAGA pieces of trash keep texting me. Dad's second wife gives him my number. It's absolute trolling. She's a terrible human being. A word begins to be a monster. Anyways, and not just because she's MAGA, but she's an absolutely horrendous human being. I'm not surprised that she supports the president as America goes fascist. Yeah, so if Henry Agwood Wallace would have become president, he would have been friendly with the Soviet Union, continuing the policy of friendship that had evolved during World War II, and that had U.S. stance since the Soviets had softened before in the Great Depression, because capitalists need investment opportunities, and the Soviet Union was willing to make direct trades. Like, you bring your technology and your experts over, we'll just pay you money, and we'll just pay you on a schedule for, that will be your return on investment, instead of, you actually owning the factories. And so, like, Ford built factories in the Soviet Union. He also built them in Nazi Germany. Capitalists are very unethical, and they'll do whatever brings them in money, especially when the things are as tough as they were in the Great Depression. So, if the Democratic Party bosses, this was when the Democrats were the party of racism. Keep in mind, the Democratic Party at this time was the party of segregation. It was the Republicans who were the party that was more left-wing on racial rights, and actually generally more left-wing until FDR is when that started to change. So, Democrats were not the left-wing party in America at the time. The Republicans were. Keep this in mind. And they were rigging the convention. It'd be like the Republicans did today. And if that hadn't happened, if they didn't completely doomed the future of America and made it so that it would just become this oligarchy, this oligarchy with a two-party system, which, by the way, the two-party systems were harvesting money from the National Endowment for Democracy. So your taxpayer dollars were basically illegally being used to fund the two main political parties, ensuring that other third parties can't break in. As if the system wasn't already rigged enough for terms of thoroughly being two parties, and the first past the post voting ensuring that. I don't love this card draw. I'll just stick with it.
Job's done.
So yeah. Rigged two-party system. Make the eye first or something. That's kind of gross anyways.
I have but little time.
I'm drawing all these high cost things against what's, I would bet, some combo priest nonsense. Yeah, so party racism doomed America into the Cold War, which Truman was responsible for. Truman and Churchill. Churchill was a monster too. He used artillery to break up Welsh coal mine strikes before World War II. He was a terrible human being. He also wanted to gas Bill with... I'm not going to finish that sentence because of censorship. I don't think war crimes are something that I should probably be talking about here. But, yeah, not even... Yeah, actually, yes, a war crime, because this is when the British invaded the Soviet Union. Yes, the British invaded the Soviet Union in the 1920s. People have completely forgotten this happened, and they wonder why the Soviets didn't trust the West, especially the British, who led the charge that the US sent troops, as did Canada. But it was the British whose idea it was.
Little time.
I really need the corpse, otherwise I'd use that spell stone.
Job's done.
It's on the mana curve. It has life steal and it imbues the hero power. What the heck? Talk about obnoxious cards. They're... And it won't even show me the rarity of the stupid thing, because it's fully animated nonsense. Signature or whatever.
Death calls.
What obnoxious, unfair garbage. Of course, I didn't draw anything else that was undead. About the Necromancer isn't. Buffing 3 things isn't terrible.
I have but little
So.
time.
Probably just gonna do another 2/2, so I'm probably gonna next turn. I'm not gonna have probably not gonna be able to use all my mana anyways. Then I could do the Necromancer, but maybe I will. Wasn't gonna get buffed anyways. Alright, I'm not gonna get anything important. It's just gonna be people suddenly bugging me because Afghan's hitting. Maybe other... I swear half of these people on like the dating apps, they're bot farms in other countries. Doesn't line up with 2 in the afternoon. People aren't getting off work. It's not their lunch break. They shouldn't be... Most people aren't disabled and stuck at home like I am. So Thrive in the Shadows. Discover a spell from your deck. Created by Blessing of the Moon. It's normally be a 2. Alright, move this. Put 4 mana to remove it, and it got a chance to hit my hero. Not great. Let me start getting these down. I mean, they don't leave corpses, unfortunately, but the Necromancer does. The ghouls do.
Follow the flutterwings!
I hate imbue decks, and one of the reasons why is because all of the cards are overpowered. Like, you need a few key, you can't just use the common ones, but they're all, like, so I can't just craft it. For this to really be viable, you need some epics and stuff, but they all, in terms of cost relative to mana, like, this is Taunt and Divine Shield, and it's on the mana curve. That's already, just, no. No. Deep press.
I have but little time.
A rush minion. It's something that will enable me to draw and get more corpses. This is about to upgrade. I'm hoping I'll get another undead. Spell stone. Even if I don't. I need it to take down that lifesteal thing. If I just ignored it and went for face damage, he'd heal it. This is not going great, though. Void shard. Right. Alright, well, I can't wait any longer here.
As a gracious host, I will tend to you personally. How entertaining.
Of course it triggers them that. Instead, one of the things they just buff. Remember, any of the cards I can play are buffed at least 2/2. One's 3/3. Good value. Won't matter. This stuff. This thing is already getting out of hand. I hate imbue priests. I hate them so much because it costs so much dust to make a deck for one of these. It's Blizzard being greedy.
My rage is not
Death Rattle that's pretty good with a miniaturize. Are you kidding me?
My rule is eternal.
I'll let him think that I can chain this. I can't.
One more death can't hurt.
I have but little time.
Unless I get lucky here. Nope.
The void is filled with many whispers.
Of course he gets that. Like I said, Blessing the Moon Priests are way too expensive. They're hot garbage for greedy companies that
My rule is eternal.
You could use a trim. Clear cut.
Job done.
This person probably intentionally deranked down to the bottom of silver just so they can beat up on people with worse decks like mine. This deck doesn't belong at silver 10. It belongs at like silver 2 at least. And probably up in the gold or diamond ranges. I mean gold or platinum.
Death calls. Rise and serve your king.
Gets. Are you kidding me? I needed that, even though, because if I don't get something out that can kill this immediately, he's gonna, between the 8 attack to his hero, 8 armor, it's ridiculous. Overpowered, lucky. Mind you, this was a random minion. He's either lucky as heck or possibly a hacker. But this honestly looks like a whale. A lucky whale. Expensive deck and a lot of luck. Probably thinks he's just skilled. And he's probably intentionally deranking. Oh, you know, I can report that because I suspect that's what he's doing. Although they might... There's no way that he legit is at this rank. He's been clearly deranking the out here so he can get wins
My
quicker.
collection is ever growing.
You are the Shadow's puppet!
And then of course that. Actually, that doesn't belong in this deck at all. No. This is looking like hacking. On top of deranking. Shadow Ascent is not something you would use in this lunar deck at all. Well, it could just be to confuse people. Of course, I won't get any elementals.
I have but little time. The fallen will serve.
Job done.
Get this out now. Not immediately useful, but the pressure on his hero, among other things. I don't have the corpses to get more value at the blood tap. It just happens to be hold on to removal for big minions, I would guarantee it.
Music to my ears.
Bookmarked! I have but little time. Blasphemy!
You are the Shadow's puppet!
Really? Yep. Nonsense. Cheating nonsense. The odds of this luck, plus cards that don't belong, plus he's intentionally deranking if he's not cheating.
Again.
He's gonna have a total board clear. Overpowered. And this is standard. This is not wild. This is a cheater.
Rise and serve your king.
I should have done this earlier, actually. See what I discover.
My rule is eternal.
Good stats.
I have but little time.
I don't know if the... Sometimes these generate kindred cards, and sometimes things like this, it's just like... Yeah, it's very possible. It doesn't do anything, but it does 2/7 for 2, which is still reasonably good. A lot of value, but he'll pull things out of his hat to win. No matter what, he's a hacker.
Relaxation for all, and all thanks to me.
Another card that, well, that might actually belong in this deck. I can see that. The Shadow Ascent definitely doesn't. It speaks to being, it's only very situationally useful. And I doubt this guy's that bad at deck building, so he had to. Maybe a turn give all permanents, didn't have to. Right, and that just happens to be what he gets for a legendary.
My rule is eternal.
Rush, Taunt Elusive, Reborn Lifesteal. No. I need more rush than that. Make some poisonous. Alright. Great.
I have but little time.
Let's just see how this works.
Stories.
Nope, doesn't draw any, generate anything. At this point,
All life must end.
bugger off, hacker. Cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater. It's definitely been intentionally deranking. If he hasn't been just cheating in cards, and he might be doing both, actually. I suspect both. Because his hacking would give him a high win rate, but he intentionally deranks. He wants to face the easiest matches possible. Alright. See if I can get another relatively quick thing here. I can just see if it's some garbage. It's gonna take forever. And then I guess off to Hearthstone 4.
The Lich King
Priest?
versus
Another
Cyrilla.
priest. What the heck?
I must
What's
not
with all the
falter.
priests?
All will serve me.
To be fair, priests usually have low win rates. They're gimmicky and annoying when they get carried away, but they actually aren't very good. Would have played the big minions before, but of course priests always have removal, and I suspect that guy was hacking.
Job's done.
So you would have showered ruin or death whenever you need it. Really need it.
Don't keep your thoughts to yourself.
The 1-2 a draw, and it gives inputs. Annoying. Sorcerer is pretty useless without. Sorry, the Bow of the Nickman is pretty useful without.
By petal and sword.
Another one of these. Gah! This one you can trade well.
Job's done.
Watch him have another imbue already. Huh? Maybe not. Still, I despise Blessing of the Moon Priest. It's such an expensive deck to craft.
My readings are off the charts.
Oh, this is an annoying card. Is it getting? It is darker. For a Death Knight. Oh, frustrate him with this.
The fallen will serve.
Get through one.
Fallen will serve.
Easy enough.
You've got me fired up.
Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking.
It's annoying. see if I get a good draw.
Delicious.
Not terrible. Just gonna push through this with something.
I have but little time.
Trade my necromancers as much as I want it.
Elune, bring guidance.
More priest-themed nonsense. Moon-themed nonsense.
Job's done.
Follow the flutterwings! Blink together in harmony. This fire must not burn again.
Odds. It might not be, but the odds of such luck.
Get out of our nest!
I don't want combining these, but I need the card draws. He's gonna go for some of the beetles, probably. Although it means the thing come back with less stats. Yeah, this is happening. Thoughts? Just alright, well. Enough of this. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm about to concede to this piece of garbage. I'm sorry, human trash. I'm sorry, cheater. I'm sorry, cheater, pumpkin eater. I wish you all the best. Viewers, be kind to yourselves. Do harm yourselves. Take care of each other. Look after the vulnerable. Look after those are oppressed. Go around oppressing others. Really? Yeah, he just wants to clear the board so bad.
One more day
He likes
can't hurt.
make me burn cards just to be humiliating.
All right, Buster.
He's a cheater. Anyways, until next time, viewers, I wish you all the best.